One of the great world footballing fixtures of our time. Whenever, wherever it's played, two of the biggest our game has to offer always put on a show. And Las Vegas, Nevada, the perfect place for this particular stage. Allegiant Stadium packed to the brim for Elclasico. Two sides steeped in incomparable, incomprehensible history. A fixture that knows no boundaries. It's Real Madrid and Barcelona. Callum Williams alongside former Premier League defender Matt Lawrence as your commentary team. A fixture best described at times as a walking work of art. There are super clubs of our sport, they are super clubs of our world. They are Real Madrid and Barcelona. There is simply no comparison, and Matt Lawrence, a tremendous sense of occasion here today.
Hey, look at Callum. I'm not afraid to admit it. I've always been the biggest of football snobs about the meaningless of pre-season friendlies. But as Stephen Patrick Morrissey once said, this night has opened my eyes. This feeling, it has a true sense of occasion. I've had my own personal epiphany here, I really have. To see people descend on the city of sin from all over the globe has shown me that a football match in whatever guise means the world to so many. So forgive me, and my football snobbery is safely tucked away for tonight, Callum.
As it should be. It is a sensational occasion. From all over the world, fans have flocked to watch their heroes. From South America to Central Europe, and even fans arriving from Asia here, and coming to the city of entertainment, indeed, to be entertained by their heroes and their sporting superstars. Matt Lawrence, what a fantastic evening we had ahead for us here. First and foremost, let's focus on the team, shall we? Barcelona, after finishing second once again to Real Madrid in the La Liga standings, a new centre-forward arriving, which was announced just several days ago, Robert Lewandowski, who starts today for Barcelona. What should we expect from him? What should we expect from Barcelona next season?
Well, what we expect from Lewandowski is goals. That's the only reason he's come here. We know that they're absolutely overrun by debt, Barcelona. 10 figures worth of debt they have on them. But Lewandowski has come here, and it's all about goal scoring, and it's all about propelling them not only domestically ahead of Real Madrid, but also in the Champions League. Let's not forget, they were knocked out in the group stages of the Champions League, knocked out of the Europa League at the quarter-final stages by Eintracht Frankfurt. Lewandowski has come here to propel them forward, to propel them above the biggest clubs in the world, and they need to do it. That debt is there, it's apparent. We all know about it. They have to overcome that debt and propel themselves forward.
Well, talking of one of the very biggest teams in world football, Real Madrid certainly fit that description. Champions of Europe, they were winners of La Liga once again under Carlo Ancelotti, who returned from a mid-season spell at Everton. No doubt, plenty of expectation on Real Madrid as always moving into their campaign.
Yeah, of course, and look, these are the champions of Europe, these are the champions of Spain. They are hoping to keep themselves on that pedestal, and when you have a manager of the ilk and the class and the desire of Carlo Ancelotti, even at his age, and I hope he forgives me, even at his age, he's still a born winner, and he wants to keep going and going and going. He's not going to let this Real Madrid team rest on their laurels. The minute they won La Liga, the minute they won Champions League, those medals were discarded. He will have ordered them to be discarded, and they've moved on literally the next day. Granted, a night of celebration, I'm sure, but after that, they would be fully focused on this season. And what bigger an occasion than Elclasico in Las Vegas in front of this packed house, this vociferous crowd, Callum.
A crowd of over 65,000, we're told, inside the gorgeous Allegiant Stadium. A raucous roar to welcome the two teams. Both history and hysteria in itself inside the walls of Allegiant Stadium. A gargantuan crowd for a juggernaut football match. The eyes of the world fixated on Las Vegas, fixated on Real Madrid, Barcelona. Well, whether you're watching in London, Lisbon, Lahore, Liverpool, this is Las Vegas. Arguably the entertainment capital of the world and the perfect place for both to enthrall and compel. Handshakes aplenty and all eyes on Robert Lewandowski, the new Barcelona centre-forward, making his debut today. So then let's focus on Real Madrid then, Matt Lawrence, your eyes focusing on both ends of the field today.
Yes, certainly for me, this could be the end of the line for Eden Hazard and his Real Madrid career. I feel he needs to offer us something. Of course, not just tonight. This is still a pre-season friendly. Whatever we think of this massive occasion, but we need to see something from him. He needs to stay fit and he needs to offer us what we saw at Chelsea. And talking about Chelsea, the other end of the field, I'm a defender by trade, all about Rudiger. What can he offer this Real Madrid backline? Can he offer stability alongside Militao?
So then, from a Barcelona perspective, Xavi, the head coach, is in attendance, we're told. 5 adjustments after that 6-0 thumping of Major League Soccer's Inter Miami. All eyes undoubtedly, though, Matt Lawrence, on Robert Lewandowski.
And why wouldn't they be? We've seen his face flash up on the big screen time and time again. He's met rapturous roars every time we see his face, but he's all about goals, isn't he? Just under $50 million they paid to Bayern Munich for this guy who's 33 years of age, nearly 34. He hasn't got many years left, but if he can carry this Barcelona side to La Liga glory and then to Champions League glory, it will be worth every penny, even if he only lasts a season or two.
So then, the fixture that he is more than familiar of, over 500 appearances and 15 major honours as a Barcelona player, now in charge of steering the ship. Carlo Ancelotti, of course, returning to Real Madrid after success elsewhere. The former Juventus, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern München man now again in charge of Real Madrid and delivered their 35th league title and their 14th Champions League triumph, arriving from Everton last season. Well, regardless of this being a so-called friendly, this a fixture that lives right on the edge. In a place that often delivers sport right on the edge. A compelling and enthralling evening expected. And so away we go. And we welcome you to the planet's ultimate club game. This modern-day juggernaut of a football match. The champions of Europe. The conquerors of Spain up against the most envious and immaculate of rivals. A classic of its time and quite beautifully, appropriately named Elclasico. Welcome to one of the great thrills of our game. Welcome to Real Madrid versus Barcelona. An exhibition version of it, but Matt Lawrence, this will hardly be friendly here this evening.
No, it won't be at all. And look, my football snobbery is well and truly in check. This is a massive game here, massive sense of occasion, certainly for all of the fans here, and of course for the players on show here as well. Both sides have gone with really strong lineups, and already we see in the middle third of the park, the challenges are going to go in. This isn't going to be a particularly friendly.
Exhibit A, Robert Lewandowski, with a rather spontaneous and aggressive introduction to Elclasico. Here's Courtois. Real Madrid, of course, finishing above Barcelona in the standings in the La Liga table once again last year. champions of Europe after beating Liverpool in the UEFA Champions League final. He once again masterminded it. 13 points they finished ahead of second place Barcelona in the last campaign. Barcelona with no league title for the last 3 years. As it stands, the La Liga trophy has found a home in Madrid, in between both Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. Barcelona in need of some fine-tuning. Robert Lewandowski, the well-oiled Polish goal-scoring machine, here to answer their call. Here's Araujo. Barcelona look for an early advantage here. Ansu Fati, ball comes across goal, scrambled away by Rudiger. Back in to the danger zone. Met in mid-flight by Militao. Fast and frantic start to Elclasico here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it is, and I think you make a really valid point, Callum, as well, about Barcelona and the fact that they've played second best to their biggest rivals, Real Madrid, for 3 years now. 2018-19 was the last time they won La Liga. And I think they want to put down a marker, and they want to put down a marker as early as possible. And that could start here in Las Vegas. Granted, no points are on show at all, but they've started fast, they've started frenetic, Barcelona here. And there's a reason that they've brought in the likes of Raphinha. There's a reason they've brought in Lewandowski, Frank Kessie, Andreas Christensen as well. It is to propel themselves and to get a foothold not only in La Liga but also Champions League, and be successful again, to back where they believe they belong.
Here's Ansu Fati, gets the halfway out he needs. Tidied up by Rodrigo for Real Madrid. Vinicius Junior taken down, no free kick given. Here's Camavinga to tidy up. Vasquez. Amongst the crowd. Camavinga again. Alaba. The former Bayern Munich man who played alongside Robert Lewandowski for many a year. Barcelona forced into a defensive moment. Christensen coming across the cover.
Yeah, about the first we've seen of Andreas Christensen, the man who's come across from Chelsea, of course, on a free transfer. A great signing, Christensen. Really is very solid defensively and suits the Barcelona mould as well. Very comfortable on the ball, will be more than happy to carry the ball out of the back.
Jordi Alba interrogating pass forwards, which Courtois is able to gather. Of course, no Karim Benzema for Real Madrid here this evening. He's of course joined them on this pre-season tour of the United States, but Carlo Ancelotti neglecting to give him the opportunity of playing in front of the crowd here today. A very different role for Eden Hazard up front for Real Madrid. Rodrigo. Well, the referee's been lenient in the opening 5 minutes.
I absolutely concur, very lenient. Sometimes you like the game to flow, but also you don't really want to let everything go and just offer up the players on the field. If they think the referee's been lenient in pre-season, they're going to have a little nibble in the middle of the park, aren't they? They'll put the challenges in.
Miscue on the far side from another new boy for Barcelona, Raphinha. He's arrived after 11 goals in 35 Premier League appearances for Leeds United under the American Jesse Marsch last season.
Yeah, and a poor Leeds United side as well, so to be scoring 11 goals in a side that just about escaped relegation. You know the guy's got talent, and he really did instigate this move between himself and Barcelona. There was no way in the world he was going to be allowed to stay at Leeds United. However much Leeds United coveted him, wanted him to stay, he was always going to be on the move, similar to Calvin Phillips in a way, and Manchester City.
Raphinha, the most expensive signing of the off-season for Barcelona, costing a cool €48 million. Lewandowski, the most high-profile though, no doubt about it. Here's Rodrigo. put in his path by the ever so impressive Pedri in the centre of midfield. Here's Christensen. Busquets. Delightful little dink forwards, required an intervention which came from Alaba. And there's Thibaut Courtois. Immaculate goalkeeper on his day. Albert. And Ter Stegen. I think on hand here for Real Madrid. Militao. And Antonio Rudiger. Another free transfer arrival from Chelsea in the off-season. And the miscue. Perhaps Barcelona could take advantage. Ansu Fati seemed to get himself tangled up.
And he certainly did get himself tangled up, Ansu Fati there. But also you have to credit Lucas Vázquez for getting himself back into position. He had just vacated that right-back berth initially, but got himself back in position. And talking about fullbacks, it looks as though Antonio Rudiger is playing as a left-back at the moment. Certainly surprising to us, but I don't think it's just that's where he's positioned now. I think that's where he has been for the first few minutes of the game, and I think that's his position for the first 45 minutes. Certainly my assumption, not why Real Madrid signed him, to play as a left-back, Callum.
Talking of left-backs, Alaba into Fati. Pedri with a delightful ball to the far side, into the green-booted Raphinha. Garcia. Brings it beautifully into the path of Raphinha once more. Here come Barcelona. Raphinha, twinkle-toed. Busquets. Gavi. Barcelona happy to retreat for the time being. And already, short of 10 minutes, the Olays have started. Here's Raphinha. Twisting and turning. And this time, the standing fullback, Antonio Rudiger, doing just about enough to thwart Raphinha.
Well, his one-on-one defending is certainly going to be tested here, and you see it. The quick feet, the trickery of Raphinha. But Rudiger stood up big and strong, and he watched the ball. He wasn't watching the hip movements, he wasn't watching the body sways of Raphinha. Watched the ball and defended really well there, Rudiger.
Real Madrid finds something here. Valverde. Delightful ball in towards Eden Hazard. Defended by Garcia. Ter Stegen into Busquets.
And this is what the crowd came to see. That man there with a ball at his feet, Lewandowski. But credit the defence of Real Madrid, because they congregate around the German, or the Pole, Lewandowski. And as he strikes towards that near post, Ter Stegen gets down very well to his left-hand side. Too wide though, too tight an angle really for Lewandowski to trouble Ter Stegen.
Cleverly done. Ansu Fati unable to combine. Despite the best efforts of Robert Lewandowski. Camavinga comfortably into the path of Courtois. Just the 29 La Liga goals conceded last season for the Belgian. League winner with Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid and Chelsea. 15 clean sheets last season. You have some work to do to keep a clean sheet here tonight. Lewandowski chipped away by Alaba. Rodrigo. Now the turn of Real Madrid. Vinicius Junior. Can they find something here? Rodrigo. Tchouameni. Aurélien Tchouameni. Now the always starting from the Real Madrid fans. Hazard. Vinicius Junior craving half a yard. Arriving mid support is Rudiger. Took a deflection and scrambled away by Alaba.
Well, the marauding Antonio Rudiger very much on show at the moment down that left-hand side. As I say, this is not why Real Madrid bought him. Certainly my assumption they didn't buy him to be playing as a left-back. But playing as a left-back he is right now. Alaba and Militao, the left-sided and right-sided centre-halves. And he's really doing a job on Raphinha right now, is Rudiger.
Alaba. Here's Elclasico, Spanish international. He's left Barcelona in 2017 for Manchester City, but then returned in 2021. He's 21 years of age. For those potential suitors watching on, in case you're wondering, the buyout clause is just the 400 million euros. Rudiger making the challenge necessary. Alaba getting the better of his former teammate Robert Lewandowski. Here's Raphinha. Gavi. And Garcia once again. The pass from Christensen. Does raise the right arm in apologetic fashion. Rather than a clash between two former FC Bayern players here.
Yeah, Alaba certainly with a raised foot there. Lewandowski just at the last minute just ducked his head. Took a little bit of a nick on the shoulder, but he'll be all right, Lewandowski. Here he is again, Callum, as well. Rudiger, you see him playing as a fullback, taking the throw-ins. Completely old school, old-fashioned route. Fullback right now, Rudiger. Very surprising, I think, to see him in that position. But he's sticking limpet-like to Raphinha at the moment. And so far, honours not quite even. Honours really have gone to Rudiger.
Well, he's had admirers in Madrid for many a year. The 29-year-old joined in June after 5 seasons at Chelsea. Ironically, his last Chelsea goal came against Real Madrid in the UEFA Champions League quarter-finals.
Also, his best season at Chelsea was his last season. No surprise for me, you quite often see that, whether it's in football, whether it's in NBA, NFL players coming to the end of their contracts. They seem to find that extra 1 or 2% to show to potential suitors what they can do.
Well, he's been able to find the extra 1 or 2 bodies this season, hasn't he, Carlo Ancelotti? Very, very busy, and once again, a whole host of money spent by Real Madrid to keep themselves where many believe they belong, towards the top end of European football. Busquets. Forward at the second time of asking, repelled by Alaba. And now Camavinga, turning into trouble, and able to wriggle away, ever so delightfully. Rodrigo. Camavinga taken down. Referee immediately recognising the situation.
Yeah, but great ball retention there from Real Madrid, and just that willingness to take the ball in tight spaces there from Camavinga. Got his body in between himself, or in between the Barcelona player and the ball. First touch was spot on as well, just invited the challenge on and then went over. No surprise really that both sets of players willing to take the ball in tight spaces. The best of the best right here.
Rudiger going a little short, for Courtois' liking. Vinicius Junior taken down by another evasive challenge from Ronald Araujo. Uruguayan pleading his case. Here come Barcelona again. Lewandowski unable to find Raphinha. And Courtois, as well as Vasquez, came under pressure. Camavinga. And Barcelona defend another spring and a counter press here from Real Madrid. Rudiger. Just away from the grasp of Azal. And the effort towards goal! Just a whisker away from opening the scoreline here in Las Vegas. Valverde coming within a whisker, Matt.
What a strike this is. It's a terrific first touch as well. Gets the ball out of his feet. The standing foot is off the ground as well. He hits it with full force with the laces of the right boot. And you see the goal shake, the cameras shake. So close. A whisker away there, Valverde.
So 18 minutes to pass, Matt Lawrence. Thoughts, observations?
I quite like pre-season friendlies, Callum. I'm all for them. It's such, not only is it a spectacle, but to see these players here as well, maybe not playing quite at full tilt. It's the first friendly for Real Madrid. And let's be honest, Barcelona weren't exactly tested against Inter Miami either. But this is being played at 90–95%. And it's fun and it's exciting.
Ansu Fati to Jordi Alba. Araujo. Christensen, of course, brought into a backline that conceded 38 goals in 38 La Liga games last year. Busquets, picked up into the sky by David Alaba. Miscue from Vasquez. And now Camavinga. Awkward turn from him. Fati! Real Madrid very nearly the architects of their own downfall.
Well, and this is all about Camavinga. He tries a little Cruyff turn in his own penalty area and gets it all wrong. And so does Ansu Fati, though. He goes with his left foot, and the inside of his left foot is always curling away from goal. He needs to hit it with the laces or the outside of the left foot to keep it on target. It's a poor effort from Fati, as it was from Camavinga.
Now then, at the other end of the field, here come Real Madrid. Rodrigo. Hazard. Rudiger. Can they find a way through on this occasion? Not if Araujo on the far side has anything to do with it. Superb piece of defending from the Uruguayan.
It really was. The fence is on top right now, and one-on-one defending has been quite glorious so far. We've seen Rudiger on Raphinha, and there we see Araujo as well. Quite fantastic defending, not willing to watch the body swerves, the hips move. It's all about focusing on the ball, keeping that low centre of gravity as well. And Araujo, he loved it, and then he fired the ball against the hoardings as well. Don't get kidded on that this is just a pre-season friendly. This means the world to some of these players.
Xavi. Raphinha's ball in, away by the commanding head of Alaba. So Stegen forced a long way out, calmly clipping into the channel.
Well, as is the want of the modern-day goalkeeper, both Courtois and Ter Stegen, so calm under pressure and with the ball on their feet. Both have great starting positions. Ter Stegen constantly 25 yards, 30 yards out of his goal. Always on his toes, always expecting a quick counter from the opposition.
Busquets. And Valverde now into Eden Hazard, who is tripped by the trailing leg of Raphinha.
Well, it's not quite his position, is it? Eden Hazard is dropping deeper and deeper. He doesn't really want to be playing as that archetypal number 9. Yes, wearing the 7 shirt, but playing as a centre forward here. And as the game has progressed, Callum, he's been dropping deeper and deeper, and there we saw him being fouled in the centre circle. That's how deep he's dropping.
Well, our coverage of the Soccer Champions Tour 2022 continues on Tuesday when FC Barcelona take on Juventus at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. That a 7:30 kick-off Central Time. Tuesday, Real Madrid take on Club America at the Oracle Park in San Francisco, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time. And then Saturday, Real Madrid take on Juventus from the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California at 7 p.m. Pacific. A fabulous pre-season tournament continues. Treated to Juventus Chivas Guadalajara last night here in Las Vegas. Juventus victorious by 2-0. Lewandowski caught in the crowd. And Courtois thumping away.
Well, it's intriguing, Callum, to see any time the ball goes near Lewandowski, the white shirts swarm around him, not just defenders, but the holding midfielders as well, whether it be Tchouaméni, whether it be Camavinga. They're getting around him. They're not allowing him too much time on the ball.
Covey combining with Raphinha. So Raphinha will leave the throw now for Araujo. Joined Barcelona B in 2018 from Boston River in Uruguay. Last goal for Barcelona actually came in a 4-0 victory over Real Madrid back in March. The penultimate defeat of the La Liga season for Real Madrid. Robert Lewandowski continuing to show his new teammates what they have to aim for. And he'll be delighted to know the next competitive meeting between these two sides will actually be the 250th iteration. I think there's a sense of occasion today. Now defending to do for Real Madrid as Raphinha stands over, and a myriad of maybes for Barcelona. Who won themselves a throw on the far side. Carlo Ancelotti replaced Zinedine Zidane in June. 11 major honours to his name. Won league titles in 5 different countries and the Champions League 5 times. Here's Garcia. Delightfully driven ball only into the path of Rudiger though. Camavinga. Here's Rudiger again. And Real Madrid look to interrogate Barcelona. It's Rudiger! And wide.
Well, he may predominantly play as a centre-half, Antonio Rudiger. But look at this. The overlapping fullback picks the ball up from Camavinga just inside his own half. And with nobody closing him down, he decides to have an effort at goal. He should never be able to get within 22, 23 yards of the goal without being closed down. It's an unopposed strike. He has to do better there, Rudiger.
Ter Stegen forced into a clearance. Aurelian Tchouaméni forced into the pass out wide. Vasquez amongst the forest of Barcelona players pressing. Militao a little uncomfortable. And giving the ball away. Raphinha! Lift off in Las Vegas. High press, high stakes, high reward. Raphinha with his second goal for Barcelona, who lead in Las Vegas in Elclasico.
Well, you're told as a 12-year-old, never play balls square across the top of your own penalty area. And Militao doesn't heed that warning, and Raphinha, this is quite exquisite. He couldn't have placed it any better. He hits it with the inside of his left foot, but with power. And there's absolutely nothing the best goalkeeper in the world, Courtois, can do about that. And boy, is Raphinha happy with that. Leeds United fans know what he can do. And now Barcelona fans know what he can do.
They will be delighted. As we insinuated earlier on, Matt Lawrence, this may only be an exhibition game, but it feels, it means so much more. This is now Hazard, as Real Madrid look for an immediate response. Barcelona leading by 1-0. Raphinha's second goal in as many pre-season games. The question will now be what sort of a response do Real Madrid have up their sleeve? How will Militao be thinking? What will he be thinking after giving away the ball so cheaply and so poorly?
Well, he'll definitely be thinking, don't try and play square balls across the top of my own penalty area with my weaker left foot. Granted, a professional footballer should be two-footed, but he got it all wrong. And Raphinha just said, thank you very much. And in a split second, in a blink of the eye, almost the ball's in the back of the net. Nothing Courtois can do about that.
Nothing. Here come Barcelona again. Pedri. Rudiger to meet it in mid-flight. Whilst we have a moment, Matt Lawrence, the two centre-backs for Barcelona, Christensen and Garcia, playing together for the first time. What have we made of them? What does your centre-half expertise think?
Well, I think they're very thankful that they're playing up against Eden Hazard and not against Karim Benzema. Yeah, look, they haven't been tested. They haven't been tried, they haven't been tested. Hazard's never going to run in behind them. As we all know, Eden Hazard in the summer shouldn't really be wearing white. It's going to be another couple of months till he's at his peak fitness, that's for sure. And Garcia and Christensen are quite happy to deal with him right now.
Raphinha's ball in. Well, met in mid-flight. Barcelona happy to retreat.
Yeah, look, first and foremost, Christensen and Garcia know that Eden Hazard's not going to run away from them. They don't always have to get tight. He hasn't got electric pace at the best of times. Right now, certainly, he's not in peak physical condition. And it's comfortable. This is what you want as a centre-half pairing, Garcia and Christensen. You're getting to know each other. You're getting to know the flaws, the limitations in each other's games, and of course you're getting to know what the best of attributes are of each other. It takes a while, it takes time for those relationships to grow, but they're starting to grow here, that's for sure.
Busquets. Jordi Alba. Tyson ball in for Fati. Thumped away by Militao, taking no chances this time. Rodrigo taken down and a free kick to Real Madrid. Rodrigo, former Santos winger. Vasquez gets the half a yard he needs. Nudged away by the head of Araujo. He picks up the ball again here, the Uruguayan. And fancies himself up against Rudiger. Araujo. And still Araujo. Pieces are picked up here by Ansu Fati. Raphinha. Raphinha, Lewandowski!
Well, they are all at sea right now, Real Madrid. It's all Barcelona. The ball is fizzed into the penalty area, and that's exactly what Lewandowski wants. He pulls off the defence, but let's credit Alaba. Terrific block.
Raphinha's ball in, way by the head of Rudiger. Jordi Alba playing with Raphinha. Real Madrid desperate to find a way out, so they can't at the moment. And Barcelona happy to find comfort in the centre-half Garcia, and now Araujo. Well, it's goals that Barcelona have needed, particularly over the course of the last 12 months. 68 scored last year, the lowest number since the 2003-04 season. Year where they finished second behind Valencia under Frank Rijkaard. It's also the year that we were treated to the introduction of Ronaldinho from Paris Saint-Germain. Well, they've certainly addressed the goal-scoring issues. Raphinha with the goal here this evening, and Robert Lewandowski has shown he is still more than capable.
Yeah, they've spent big money. They've gone big. They may be 10 figures in debt, Barcelona, but they've had a go here, haven't they, this summer? And they may be players added on top of this.
Now then, Robert Lewandowski, well charged down and into the path and the grasp of Thibaut Courtois. Alaba knows every trick Lewandowski has up his sleeve.
Yeah, and you may know every trick, but sometimes it's hard to stop. We all used to know how Ian Robben would cut in from the right-hand side onto his left foot and curl it into the top corner, but it was tough to stop.
First yellow card of the evening brandished out.
Yeah, this is Christensen on Hazard. A comfortable decision and an easy decision for the referee to make, right under his nose as well. Yellow card to Christensen. The referee positioned himself well. We don't always credit the referees with positivity, with good play, but that was good refereeing there. Good positional play as well.
Militao forward for Valverde, easily gathered by ter Stegen. He's been the number one for Barcelona for many a year now, of course, joined all the way back in 2014 from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Here's Ansu Fati, cleverly manoeuvring inside, and well defended by a retreating and desperate Lucas Vázquez.
Fantastic defending from Vázquez here. Fati absolutely skipped by Militao, but Vázquez stayed strong, went shoulder to shoulder, didn't just dangle a leg to be fallen over, just got a toe in.
Fati. Jordi Alba's ball in, away by Militao. Lewandowski got a hold of it. Last touch indeed did ricochet off of the new Barcelona centre-forward and behind for a Real Madrid goal kick.
He's going to be shooting from anywhere, isn't he, Lewandowski? Desperate for a goal here against rivals Real Madrid. He's had one effort from a really tight angle that was well saved by Courtois. This time a little double ricochet, but slightly unfortunate there, Lewandowski.
And Lawrence, what have been the observations of the two young central midfielders for Barcelona, Pedri and Gavi? Pedri 19, Gavi 17.
Haven't seen masses of them. They've been trying to play the ball out wide. Barcelona's seen a lot more of Ansu Fati and Raphinha, of course. But they've held their positions well, and of course well marshalled by Busquets. The ages of the two youngsters just about the same as Busquets. 36 for the two youngsters, Gavi and Pedri. And 34, of course, for Busquets. He will be talking to them the whole way through. And they've done well, they've held their positions. But we haven't seen the trickery and the true genius of the two youngsters yet. And I don't think we've had to. I think Barcelona have been very dominant so far inside this opening 36.5 minutes without truly extending themselves.
Well, no doubt they'll learn a thing or two from him as well. Xavi watching on.
Well, it's great to see Xavi here as well after not being let into the country. I know there's certainly a few immigration issues, but wonderful to see him here in Las Vegas.
Well, unsurprisingly, one or two choice words between a Real Madrid and Barcelona player. I'd imagine that's the last time we'll say that particular sentence this evening.
Well, certainly not while Real Madrid are getting outplayed as well, not just in terms of the scoreline, obviously 1-0 to Barcelona, but you look down at possession stats, 56% at least to Barcelona, 6 shots, 2 on target, not a single shot on target for Real Madrid so far.
Here's Camavinga, lifted beautifully into the path of Vinicius Junior. Real opening here. Really good block, and Barcelona live to fight another day. Stupendous piece of defending from Christensen, who stood his ground impeccably.
Absolutely, that stood his ground, didn't sell himself, focused fully on the ball. Araujo may have got absolutely done the right back. Yes, a little bit fortuitous, but Christensen comes across, covers behind his fullback, as any good right-sided centre-half should do. And stood strong, made that block as well. Still no shots on target. Part of that is down to the good defending from Barcelona. Part of it down to the lack of quality from Real Madrid. And talking about lacks of quality, you don't very often see foul throws between teams of such ilk, such wonderful talent as this. Araujo with a foul throw.
Here's Courtois. Raphinha, Tchouameni into the path of Militao. He'll be enthused to find himself with the ball on the edge of his own penalty area again, I'm sure. Another robust challenge from Busquets on Camavinga.
Yeah, they're really pushing high, aren't they, Barcelona? They're not giving a moment's respite to the likes of Militao or Alba when they're in possession. They're closing them down right up to the top of the penalty area.
Intervention needed again. Here's Raphinha, the Barcelona goal scorer, for those of you joining us late. Now Ter Stegen. Clipped beautifully into the path of Jordi Alba. Ansu Fati. Glorious pass inside. Here's Gavi. Now Raphinha to the back post, and well gathered and watched by Thibaut Courtois. Robert Lewandowski showed a particular interest. Rodrigo and Azar. Can he have a moment in the game? Vinicius Junior still unable to find a way through, and another abrasive piece of defending from Araujo. Robert Lewandowski now forward, and it's lashed forward in towards the path of Ansu Fati, who is flagged offside. A little too eager on this particular occasion, but on a night like this, Matt Lawrence, you can hardly blame him.
No, not at all. And look, we've just seen two contrasting moments from Araujo. A brute of a defender 1 second, and then a wonderful crossfield ball the next.
Vinicius Junior lays it across goal. Valverde, and wide. From one end of the field to the other for Real Madrid.
And he rattled the woodwork with a strike, Valverde, earlier in the game. This time, a slightly more difficult effort. The ball comes out to him, and he just tries with the outside of his right foot just to curl towards the top far corner of Ter Stegen's goal. Really difficult skill from Valverde.
Real Madrid will carry on. Here's Camavinga. Valverde turning into trouble. Rodrigo. And still Rodrigo. Really well watched and gathered by Ter Stegen and goal for Barcelona.
Well, the anticipation here. The safe pair of hands from Ter Stegen at the near post. Rodrigo tries to whip the ball across the face of the 6-yard box.
Lovely lofted ball forward. Perhaps an opening here for Pedri. Stopped in his tracks for the time being. Barcelona still in possession, and Pedri having a bit of fun in the midfield as well. Now Real Madrid manoeuvre forwards. Here they come. Rodrigo taken down, and a free kick and a yellow card brandished. As the decibels rise inside Allegiant Stadium. And a little bit of afters between the two sets of players.
And here we go. Elclasico. We have it on our hands right here. If you think pre-season friendlies are meaningless, just look at this here.
No love lost between these two.
And I'm not getting in between Araujo and Rudiger either, that is for certain. Two brutes of defenders. Tall, muscular, physical, and that will to win, that drive to win, the pure desire that has made them what they are today. It's right here on show. Here it is, Vinicius Junior. Evades one challenge, but then is absolutely scythed down. It's a poor challenge on Vinicius Junior, but it was always coming. And then the afters in the background as well. Busquets getting fully involved. Eden Hazard just grabbing hold of him. But then it escalates, Callum.
Well, one would assume that Rodrigo would be able to shake it off. Confirmation of that yellow card for Jordi Alba. Well, what this does, Matt Lawrence, is it presents an opportunity from the set piece for Real Madrid, 25 yards from goal. Xavi makes his way to the edge of his technical area with a rather concerned look. And Militao limping away from the situation.
Well, the referee's just about got the situation under control now. Little flourish of the yellow card, but they're coming together. Eden Hazard obviously playing very much the peacemaker. The second slowly ticking away here at the end of the first half. But it looks like Alaba fancies this one.
So will it be? It'll be the left foot. In the end, high and behind from Alaba. So then, Matt Lawrence, observations on the opening 45 here in Las Vegas.
Well, I've been thoroughly entertained, that's for certain. As of right now, Barcelona very much the better team. They're pushing high up the field, really pressurising Real Madrid. Yes, Real Madrid have come into the game in the last few minutes, but you have to credit the defensive stability of Barcelona, but also the quality in the attack. The likes of Ansu Fati and Raphinha have been absolutely majestic so far.
Well, there we have the half-time whistle. Unsurprisingly, a classic in Elclasico, in the entertainment capital of the world. We have been enthralled. In the opening 45 minutes, a single solitary spectacular goal from that man, Raphinha. The difference on the nights so many have waited for here in Las Vegas. At the break, Real Madrid 0, Barcelona 1, Elclasico tilt in favour of Barcelona for now. Lead Real Madrid by 1-0. A stupendous goal from Raphinha it was as well. Matt Lawrence, talk us through the opening 45 minutes and what you saw.
Well, I saw a Barcelona side who wanted this game a little bit more. For me, there was a little bit more hunger and desire, a little bit more maybe of a point to prove for Barcelona. Let's not forget, you mentioned it in the first half commentary, this Barcelona side has not won La Liga since 2018-19. They've very much been playing second fiddle to Real Madrid, and they don't want to do that again this season. There's a reason that President Laporta has spent so much money, even though they're so massively in debt. They've brought in Lewandowski, they've brought in Raphinha, they've brought in some real quality players, Kessie. These are players that are going to be on show today. We saw Lewandowski, we're not sure we're going to see him in the second half. We think we possibly may see Kessie as well. It will be intriguing to see these players. Going back to the first half though, I wasn't quite unhappy with the way Real Madrid played, but I think without a focal point, I think without a true centre forward, they lost a little bit of momentum every time they went forward. Eden Hazard made it blatantly apparent that he doesn't really want to be playing as a centre forward. Didn't quite throw his toys out the pram, but he kept dropping deeper and deeper and deeper and ended up picking the ball up really in the middle third of the field. That's not where we want him.
Well, we knew there were going to be changes. 5 of them, in fact, for Barcelona. Matt, what are your thoughts on these adjustments for Xavi's side?
Well, certainly, you know that in a pre-season friendly, not everybody's going to play 90 minutes. You know that. For me, it's a shame not to see more of Lewandowski. I think Lewandowski probably would have wanted to play a little bit more as well, because during half-time, poor old Lewandowski, just so everybody knows, Lewandowski played a full 45 minutes at full tilt, and then he's doing box-to-box runs with Gavi for literally the whole of half-time. So for 10-15 minutes he's doing box-to-box runs. That's why we knew we weren't going to be seeing him. It'd be intriguing to see how Aubameyang comes in and plays. We know that Aubameyang is a true out-and-out goal scorer, maybe not of the class of Lewandowski, but we'll be seeing a lot more of him. I want to see Kessie as well. We know dominates the middle of midfield, or did, with AC Milan. Won the league title, of course, Serie A, with AC Milan, and has now joined Barcelona. So be very interested to see how he is playing alongside Pedri, and with Busquets just behind him as well.
Well, from a Real Madrid point of view, 6 adjustments at half-time. Nacho, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, Marco Asensio, Casemiro and Ferland Mendy, the players coming in for Carlo Ancelotti's side. We expected half-time changes. And what an occasion to make your mark now, Matt Lawrence, in the second half.
Yeah, it is. And look, you've got the talented midfield now of Toni Kroos, of Modric. They're going to want to get on the ball, and they're going to want to dictate the tempo of this second half. They will be treating it, the likes of Modric and Kroos, they will be treating it as 0-0, 0-0 at half-time. This will be all about the second half for them, and can they win the second half of this game?
Real Madrid will have some defensive work to do here. Dembele with the first touch. Busquets. He newly introduced Alejandro Balde on the far side as well. He's Frankie de Jong operating as a centre-half here today. Dutch international who is continuously linked with a move to Manchester United of the Premier League.
Well, I'd play anywhere to not go to Manchester United as well. Frankie de Jong's certainly doing that. He's quite happy to play as a right-sided centre-half. Just don't send me to Manchester.
Your words, not mine.
You can at me if you want.
Here come Barcelona in full fabulous flow. Raphinha, the goal scorer. Lovely ball played in! Offside! As the ball hit the wrong side of the post. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang unable to latch onto his cross and execute in the manner in which he would have wanted to. Here they come again. Kessie. Busquets. Raphinha. Twinkle-toed and full of endeavour. One back immediately by Araujo. Here's Dembele. Raphinha. To be forced to retreat. So Matt, what should we expect in the early stages of this game?
Well, it started off very much as it did in the first half, all Barcelona.
Here they come again, Raphinha across goal! Scrambled away by Nacho at the vital moment.
Well, and we're also seeing up front, I'm quite intrigued to see now Raphinha playing on the left-hand side. We know that he prefers to play on the right-hand side. He's gone to the left. We've got Dembele playing to this right-hand side now as well, with Aubameyang playing through the middle. Frankie de Jong, the man in possession of the ball. We know how he loves to progress to the middle third of the field and spray passes around like that.
Well, Raphinha and Pedri not on the same wavelength on that particular occasion. Militao doing just about enough to rid the danger. Raphinha continues to sparkle in Las Vegas.
I don't think we should be surprised if the game is a little bit disjointed for the opening few minutes of this second half either, Callum. We saw it last night in the Chivas Guadalajara game against Juventus when there's a monumental number of substitutions take place. It just takes a little while for the teams to gel and be cohesive again. And I think we can safely assume that may happen here as well. There's already been too many changes of possession. Take the sides just a few minutes to settle down and get back into the rhythm of the game. And obviously for the substitutes to come in and get used to the pace of it.
Here's Dembele. Lovely floated ball in, but it's catching practice really for Thibaut Courtois. Here's Toni Kroos. And Asensio. Manoeuvred inside by Vinicius Junior. Can Real Madrid find a way through now? Luka Modric with a teasing ball in. Easily gathered at the near post by Ter Stegen.
And he just caught the ground there, Luka Modric, I think, as he tried to just whip that ball across the face of the 6-yard box. It was nothing more than comfortably gathered by Ter Stegen. And Raphinha playing on that left-hand side. We know he loves to play on the right-hand side and cut in onto his left foot. Out there he almost looks a little bit more lost. He's not that orthodox winger who maybe wants to get to the byline and put crosses in. He's much more at home with cutting in and shooting.
Busquets. Clipped into Balde. Frankie de Jong. Lovely floated pass out wide again. Here's Raphinha. High hanging ball, easily gathered by Thibaut Courtois. So Matt, how do Real Madrid get themselves back into the realm of relevance?
Well, we need to see the likes of Modric, who's on the ball now, and Toni Kroos obviously getting on the ball, dictating the tempo of the game. And I still think without a true centre-forward, it becomes very, very difficult. We know that. There's very few Manchester Cities in the world who can play without a true centre-forward.
Now then, Asensio. Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior in support, as well as Vasquez on the far side. He was shepherded and defended very well indeed by the youngster Alejandro Balde, just 18 years of age, the Barcelona Academy product.
Yeah, coming back to it, Callum, I think we need to see more from Rodrigo, more from Vinicius Junior, and of course Asensio is now on as well. I also think the fullbacks need to provide a little more impetus. Obviously Vasquez down the right and Mendy now down the left-hand side.
Lovely angled ball from Toni Kroos. There's the German again. This is Junior trying to play on the edge, and he wins Real Madrid a free kick in dangerous territory.
Well, and of course, if you're not able to create things from open play, you then want to rely on your set pieces, especially when you have players with the ability of Toni Kroos standing over the ball. The free kick's no more than 22, 23 yards out.
Well, one would assume the angle presents an opportunity here for Toni Kroos. It will be close and over.
Well, and of course, to be reliant on a set piece, there needs to be good delivery, and good delivery it is not.
At the other end of the field, Thibaut Courtois forced to the cusp of his penalty area and into uncharted territory. Clash in midfield, and immediately the referee blows the whistle. Well, despite the protest from several Real Madrid players who wanted to continue the play, the opposing view will be this was the sensible thing to do.
Absolutely, I totally see what the referee is doing here. He thought that it was a serious injury. It's a pre-season friendly. He wants to protect the players. But ultimately, it's also a game of football. And of course, the Real Madrid players don't really care that Luka Modric is on the field a little bit injured or laying down on the turf. They wanted play to continue. I feel a little bit sorry for the referee here. You know exactly what he's trying to do. Protect the players in pre-season. I think he's admitted it there as well to the Real Madrid players, and that's good refereeing. So you can just see it in the body language, the way with which he's just apologised and he's saying sorry. Look, in hindsight, he would have let play go on. And here it is, that challenge. It is the coming together from two players. It could have been nasty.
Two wily veterans in Busquets and Modric. Never going to put out of a challenge, particularly in a game of this magnitude, pre-season or not. Modric was gliding through the channels in midfield. There's Asensio in the bright boots, and now Nacho. Mendy, another player newly introduced at half-time for Real Madrid. Thibaut Courtois happy to play out of the back. Here's Asensio. Finding support in the shape of Modric. And still unable to find a way through. Once again, Courtois forced to the edge of his penalty area into an uncomfortable situation for any goalkeeper.
Yeah, I talked in the first half about starting positions of goalkeepers, and Courtois there starting 17, 18 yards out, always there just to sweep up. That's what the modern-day goalkeeper does. Maybe Manuel Neuer started it, that archetypal sweeper keeper, the ability to come out of your area, obviously play with your feet, sometimes play with your chest or your head, and Courtois has it in absolute swathes. For me, it's interesting to see as well in this second half. Vázquez has been able to get forward a lot more already, the right back of Real Madrid, because Luka Modric has come in and he's quite happy just to tuck in behind him and almost play as an auxiliary fullback.
Well, many of you may be wondering, in terms of exhibitions and friendly games, Barcelona triumphant in 19 of the 33 friendly matches between these two in various different countries across the world. Both finished, of course, in the top two in La Liga last season, or were joined in the Champions League by Atletico Madrid and Sevilla this year. Here's Militao. Barcelona, of course, will find some comfort knowing that they thumped Real Madrid in the last competitive meeting, beating them by 4-0 back in March. So another look of concern from Carlo Ancelotti. Clearly much to digest. And perhaps even more to expect in the next 33 minutes or so from his side, who are trailing courtesy of a Raphinha wonder goal. And here's Thibaut Courtois to start Real Madrid again. Casemiro. The elegant Brazilian has his heels clipped. Well then, Real Madrid perhaps a little too comfortable, maybe even slightly naive. They do find a way through, as they always seem to do. Here's Ferland Mendy. Toni Kroos. Luka Modric. Ends up here for Rodrigo. Asensio. Vasquez. Asensio! Glorious build-up. That frankly deserved a better finish.
It purely did. You have to be hitting the target there if you're Asensio. And the interchange of play here between Modric and Casemiro. And then as the ball is cut back from Vasquez, he has to hit the target, bare minimum. Asensio has to hit the target, he has to force Ter Stegen into making a save. I said about it, the fullbacks are going to get higher up the field, and Vasquez did.
Vinicius Junior looking for Modric, clipped away for the time being. Ferland Mendy battling with his fellow countryman Ousmane Dembele, both French internationals of course. Militao. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang playing the role of senior pest as the Barcelona centre-forward. Here's Nacho. Luka Modric. Angle ball forward was well read by Araujo from Barcelona.
Yeah, defensively Araujo's been pretty impressive. His reading of the game's been exemplary. Certainly at times his one-on-one defending has been very good there. Nothing more than cutting out a ball through, but it still needed to be done.
De Jong. And a miscue from the youngster, Balder on the far side. Raises the arm in apologetic fashion. So it does seem as though there is going to be another Real Madrid change. Militao, the player departing. Jesus Vallejo, the player coming in for Real Madrid. Of course, a player that joined back in 2015. Ex-Real Zaragoza. Loan spells at Eintracht Frankfurt and Granada and Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League as well. And he will be just a singular change for Real Madrid as Barcelona make a slew. 5, we're told, in fact. And you see the likes of Memphis Depay looking to into the game. Neto, the goalkeeper, trying to replace Ter Stegen, who's had another good, nice business. Nico Gonzalez, Gerard Piqué, Memphis Depay, all coming in for Barcelona. Courtois forced to clear the ball away. And here's a first touch for Gerard Piqué. He seems to be an unpopular individual in Las Vegas. Casemiro into Asensio. Luka Modric taking charge of the situation. Nacho. Gonzalez. Here's Dembele. Roberto. Dest. And scrambled away by Real Madrid. Now then, they're coming together right on the cusp of the penalty area. The referee has given out a yellow card. And indeed, this will be another opportunity for Barcelona and maybe Memphis Depay.
Yeah, there will be. And hopefully there's a hospital nearby, because Toni Kroos just gave Vasquez the worst hospital ball in the world. He's just lobbed the ball up about 50 yards in the air towards Vasquez on the edge of the penalty area. Yes, it's not the greatest of controls by Vasquez, the right back. And then he's forced just to almost rugby tackle Depay to the ground. The initial contact, of course, just outside the area. Correct decision by the referee. Yellow card and free kick, no penalty.
So then, Depay have his moment. He goes to the cusp, and Belder via a deflection behind for a Barcelona corner. Decent ball played in and away.
It's a great ball whipped in here from Depay into that near post area. Sergio Roberto flings himself at it, almost ducks out of it in the end. Thinks there's going to be a little bit of a coming together between he and the Real Madrid defenders. Takes his eye off the ball, hits the back of his head and just goes over the crossbar. But a terrific delivery from Depay. Exactly what you want from your corner taker.
So just to recap those changes for Barcelona, Iñaki Peña, the goalkeeper, coming in. Of course, we've already seen Gerard Piqué touch the ball on several occasions. Sergio Roberto, one of the new players introduced as well, as Modric looks to clean up for Real Madrid. Sets up here nicely. Here's Dembele. Gonzalez into Belder. Unable to force a way through. And Real Madrid keep Barcelona at bay.
Well, poor old Gerard Piqué never really realised that the X had such a big following in Las Vegas.
Here's Roberto. Dembele. Can Barcelona find a second? Here's the American, Serginho Dest. Sure, he has a few fans in the building this evening. The United States men's national team player. Not this particular moment, though. He won't be too fond of that. Not his finest moment, Matt.
No, it's not. Goes with a little coif or just tries to do a little backward flick. Didn't quite come off, but we do know what we're going to get from Serginho Dest. Is somebody who's going to push on from that right full-back position. Two-footed, equally happy to get to the byline and cross the ball or cut inside onto the left.
Real Madrid at the other end. Here's Modric. Brings a delightful ball into it. Chest of Vinicius Junior, who was unable to keep the ball in play. Quiet night for the attacking player of Real Madrid. Second highest goal scorer for Real Madrid last season, of course, with 17 in La Liga, 21 in all competitions. Of course, scored the winning goal against Liverpool in the Champions League final.
I do think it's noticeable, Callum, the difference between the two sides, and I know maybe I'm harping on about it a little bit too much, but without a centre forward it seems very difficult for Real Madrid to have that transition through defence into midfield and then up front. For Barcelona it's much easier. Aubameyang's willing to shot and receive the ball, and Depay's coming in from the left-hand side as well at times.
Asensio taking over. Led by De Jong, who was able to evade Asensio in the process. Still challenge from Vallejo. Here come Barcelona looking for a second. Angle against Depay. And there's too much behind the ball and the pass.
Immediately held his head in his hands, didn't he, Frankie de Jong? It was a simple pass into the path of Depay, totally unopposed, but overhit it by a number of yards.
So Alvaro Odriozola coming in, as well as Mariano, long-time centre-forward at Real Madrid. Dani Ceballos, the former Arsenal loanee, also entering the fray for Real Madrid.
Well, just as I was bemoaning the lack of a centre-forward for Real Madrid, what they do have now is a centre-forward in Mariano, the 28-year-old. Been at the club for a number of years, but really struggled to force his way into the team. Only 7 goals in La Liga for Mariano.
That's an interesting story with Mariano. As I mentioned, 6 goals in 4 La Liga seasons with Real Madrid. 27 goals for the B team, caught the attention of Lyon. 18 goals in the 17-18 campaign was enough for Real Madrid to buy him back. Here's Modric. And Balder. Into Piqué. And Serginho Dest. Roberto. Sergio Roberto. Opened up here. Kessie! Stern, smart and strong from Thibaut Courtois.
It's a lovely build-up here, and a great ball through from Sergio Roberto. And Courtois has read that like a book. He's already gone down before Kessie has struck it.
Ceballos. Asensio. Mariano. Got a toe to it.
Yeah, but a lovely little bump from Frankie de Jong. Just as he was about to control the ball here, you see him come in and just a little nudge into the back of Mariano. Terrific defending from Frankie de Jong.
Here's Gonzalez. Another academy product from Barcelona. Pestered and has his pocket picked. Here's Mariano. Instantly dealt with by the combination of Gonzalez and Dest. But here come Real Madrid again. Casemiro. Still able to find a way through. Appeals for a penalty. Referee has no interest. Dest finding Dembele. And Peña now to resume for Barcelona. On the way from your monitor, Franck Kessie has been booked for this.
Here it is. A great tackle on the edge of the penalty area from Nico Gonzalez, and he takes a little foot just in the face. Looked like from Dani Ceballos.
There'll be one or two choice words from Franck Kessie as well. Either way, he goes into the book.
And even with all the changes in personnel, it's still incredibly lively here. Luka Modric just gets caught offside. He won't be particularly happy with that.
Our coverage of the Soccer Champions Tour 2022 continues on Tuesday when FC Barcelona meets Juventus at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. That's a 7:30 Central Time kickoff. Action continues just several hours later in San Francisco as Real Madrid meets Club America. And then next Saturday, Real Madrid will play Juventus at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. That's a 7 p.m. Pacific kickoff. Here come Barcelona. No foul given. Well, eventually, after further thought, the referee changes his mind. Depay, the player taken down. Thus meaning an opportunity here for Barcelona.
Just has to be a little bit careful here, the referee. The game's starting to get out of hand slightly. There's been a number of fouls, and this is wildly off the ball. A little bit of a punch thrown there, maybe, from Casemiro. Not the greatest of punches, of course, but the intent was there from Casemiro.
High's ball in, back across goal from Piqué, and smothered by the goalkeeper, Courtois. Serginho Dest just running the ball out of play. Mariano wanted to continue on. So the man has the second half thus far panned out in the manner in which you expected it to?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a little bit disjointed. It hasn't been as jam-packed full of quality as the first half was, but I think you would expect that with the plethora of substitutions we've had so far. There's no way it can be as cohesive as it was in the first half, because not only did we see so many substitutions at half-time, we've also seen the second half as a whole littered with them.
Belder's ball in. Takes a deflection, and Ferland Mendy to the rescue for Real Madrid. Melvin, there are half-hearted appeals for a handball. No VAR here in this tournament, and the referee has continued to play on. Here's Dest. Dembele. Pocket picked by Toni Kroos. Asensio carrying it forward here for Mariano. Perhaps an opening here for Real Madrid. Mariano gets the half a yard he needs. Hoisted into the Las Vegas sky. Piqué cushioning it forward as well. Gonzalez doing the rest. Dani Ceballos, ex-Real Betis man, back from a 2-year loan stint at Arsenal last season, of course. Toni Kroos, lovely crossfield pass. Cleverly done on the far side by Depay. Real Madrid with immediacy back in possession. Modric. Perhaps an opening here for them. Pena equal to it.
Here we see Odriozola just getting to the byline, but the cross isn't quite good enough. And this is that handball. It's as clear as day to me. And from the aforementioned Odriozola as well, he got at the other end to the byline. But here, the stray arm behind him. If there was VAR on show here today, VAR being implemented, that would have been a penalty kick, Callum. That is for certain. Absolutely stonewall penalty. No wonder the Barcelona bench below us went absolutely apoplectic with the fourth official. They saw it, they knew it.
Ceballos. Mariano lets it run. Here's Balder. And a miscue from the youngster. He and Aubameyang not on the same wavelength. That's the relief of Thibaut Courtois.
Yeah, and that phrase there, not on the same wavelength. I don't think we should be too surprised by that again, with the number of changes in substitutions, or in personnel rather. Fully 2 new 11s on show here, just about. I think Courtois is one of the only players to still be out there who began the game.
Thibaut Courtois, the only player yet to be substituted by Real Madrid. Attention now towards the other end. Odriozola into Casemiro. And Toni Kroos. Asensio forced wide into Ferland Mendy. Formerly of Lyon and Le Havre, of course. Of course, during his spell at Le Havre, he worked under Paul Bradley, the now Toronto FC head coach. Worth noting as well, whilst we're on the subject of Major League Soccer, Gareth Bale was on the score sheet today for LAFC. Big season ahead for him, with the World Cup at the end of the calendar year.
Well, we've seen a number of players coming into MLS who are going to have a really positive effect on the league. The likes of Insigne, of course, at TFC, Bernardeschi as well, and Gareth Bale, of course. I would have thought this will be the first of many goals for the Welshman, if he stays fit, of course.
In the meantime, Toni Kroos, who is the recipient of a rather abrasive challenge. Asensio unable to find a way through, but Ceballos keeping the move alive here for Real Madrid. Ferland Mendy. Casemiro. Teed himself up nicely, thought about it for a moment, didn't he? And now Luka Modric to pick up the scraps. And Toni Kroos to continue to dictate.
Yeah, Toni Kroos, he is dictating. I expected Luka Modric to dictate more, but Luka Modric keeps finding himself over on the right-hand side, whether playing as an auxiliary right fullback or whether playing as a right midfielder. I'd like to see him a little bit more central, and him and Kroos linking up. We haven't seen enough of that.
De Jong comfortable under pressure. Got the pressure too much to handle. Here come Real Madrid. Miscue from Ceballos. And a misplaced pass from Toni Kroos. He very well leads Dembele in here. Nacho doing very well to read the situation.
Yeah, as a centre-half, you don't want to come back out of that centre-half position and be playing as a full-back. Nacho ended up fronting Dembele, being one-on-one with him. You really sometimes do not want that as a centre-half. Nacho was quite happy with it, though. Really good one-on-one defending from the left-sided centre-half of Real Madrid.
It does feel, Matt, as if the game is there for the taking. Both have had a litany of openings in the second half.
Yeah, but what we mustn't forget as well, though, is Real Madrid, certainly according to the statistics below me, they still haven't had a shot on target. Still hasn't been forced into a save, Ter Stegen. Yes, he's gathered in from a number of cross-field opportunities, but from crosses either from outside the penalty area, a couple from the byline, but it's been a really comfortable night for him.
Just the single solitary goal from Raphinha of Barcelona, the difference so far for those of you once again joining us late. If you are joining us late, where on earth have you been? Nacho with a clever step. Ceballos now into Luka Modric. 36 years of age now, the Croatian. This is his 11th season at Real Madrid. Kroos. Vallejo. So with just over 5 minutes remaining, Matt Lawrence, what would be the message from Carlo Ancelotti?
Oh, the message from Carlo Ancelotti is let's not worry about the scoreline, that's for sure. If we're talking about specifically this game, it's readily apparent how much they miss Karim Benzema, that's for certain. Whether it's Benzema, whether they dip into the transfer market and buy another centre-forward, you wouldn't have thought they need one with Benzema here, but they miss him.
Lovely touching by Dest. And now it's Dembele! Really should have been 10 for Barcelona. Courtois on top of things for Real Madrid.
Well, if he isn't the world's best, he's certainly right up there, Courtois. And we see why. Dembele runs off Mendy. It's a lovely ball into him. It's a nicely weighted pass from Kessie. And he fires on target, but Courtois stands up big and tall. Great save.
And Courtois able to gather in mid-flight after Barcelona went short from the corner.
Well, Dembele should have been scoring there. He goes with power, of course, but Courtois doesn't commit and just makes himself very big at that near post area. It was a good save, but a comfortable one for Courtois.
Ceballos winning the ball back for Real Madrid, and immediately the referee blowing the whistle.
Here is that strike from Dembele. He doesn't go with finesse, he goes with power. It makes it a lot easier for Courtois. Strikes it with the laces. For me, needs to pick up spot. Needs to go across the goalkeeper. The goalie then, Courtois, either will offer up a rebound or the ball nestles in the far corner. He goes for the harder option, power on the near post.
One in mid-flight by Nacho once more. He's turned this time, and now Barcelona with a real opening. 4 against 3. Dembele, fabulous serve. Depay can't play the ball across goal. Once again, Barcelona kept at bay by Thibaut Courtois. Toni Kroos. Do Real Madrid have a response up their sleeve with the clock counting down in Las Vegas? Toni Kroos again. Mendy. Modric. Luka Modric surveying the scene.
Yeah, they're doing so well, Barcelona. Any time that Modric or Toni Kroos gets the ball, they're getting bodies behind the ball.
Lovely ball forwards. Perhaps an opening here for Real Madrid. Asensio, who's arguably had the pick of the chances for Real Madrid in the second half. Mendy. We're hearing there's going to be 2 minutes of stoppage time. So just over 3 minutes for Real Madrid to find something, or for Barcelona to hold on. Mendy. Modric. Cleverly done by Real Madrid. Asensio's ball across. Mariano with the goal gaping.
Still to register that first shot on target, Real Madrid. The chances are there, the chances have been coming, especially in this second half. Delightful cross from Asensio. And Mariano gets across the face of Piqué. Piqué is caught napping. Mariano, bare minimum, needs to hit the target there. Needs to force Ter Stegen into a save. Where's Karim Benzema when you need him?
It's a finish very representative of pre-season. So Barcelona have a second up their sleeve. Here's Aubameyang. Dembele towards the Castigals. Memphis Depay. Really good block. They're doing enough. Here's Dest. Inviting ball in, away by the head of Nacho this time. Real Madrid can't get out. And Dest forcing Courtois into yet another sensational save.
We've seen Serginho Dest at his best in the last few seconds. Crossing from the byline with the right, now shooting with the left. Fully from 22 yards out, a nice height for the goalkeeper. He just waves on his way to Courtois. But that's what you get from Serginho Dest, the two-footed fullback, a true two-footed player. Not enough of them in the world game.
Here's Depay. Another inviting ball flashes across goal. Sits up there for Dembele. Behind for a corner.
Well, the chances they keep on are coming for Barcelona. And they'll keep taking the corners as well as the seconds tick by.
A litany of Barcelona players awaiting the service. Depay goes short for Dembele. Still a slew of options for Barcelona. Depay. Kissy. Well blocked. Another cry for a hand. Referee says no. And now Real Madrid can break. Here's Asensio. The bodies fly forward for Real Madrid. Asensio's ball in. Easily dealt with by Gonzalez. And there goes the final whistle. Barcelona, box ticked. Elclasico tilts in the way of Xavi and Barcelona. A single, solitary, sumptuous strike from Raphinha, the difference between the two sides. As it finishes here in Las Vegas, Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 0. Matt Lawrence, what an evening.